Harry S. Truman, the 33rd President of the United States, 1945 to 1953, is remembered for his transformative leadership during one of the most pivotal periods in American history. Born on May 8, 1884, in Lamar, Missouri, Truman rose from humble beginnings to become a decisive leader, grappling with the conclusion of World War II, the dawn of the Cold War, and significant domestic challenges. Truman was the eldest of 3 children born to John Anderson Truman and Martha Ellen Young Truman. His family moved frequently during his early years before settling in Independence, Missouri. Truman's childhood was marked by a love of reading, particularly history and biography, and he developed a deep sense of discipline and responsibility on his family's farm. Truman's early life was shaped by economic hardship. After graduating from high school in 1901, he did not attend college due to financial constraints. Instead, he worked a series of jobs, including time as a bank clerk and a farmer, to support his family. He also joined the Missouri National Guard in 1905, a decision that would later influence his leadership style. With the onset of World War I, Truman rejoined the National Guard and served in France as a captain in the 129th Field Artillery Regiment. His leadership earned him respect among his troops and provided him with valuable experience in managing people under pressure. After the war, Truman returned to Missouri and ventured into several business endeavors, including opening a men's clothing store in Kansas City. However, financial difficulties plagued his business ventures. It was during this time that Truman began his political career, guided by the mentorship of Tom Pendergast, a powerful Kansas City political boss. Truman's political career began in earnest in 1922 when he was elected as a judge in Jackson County, Missouri, a position that was more administrative than judicial. Over the next decade, he gained a reputation for efficiency and honesty, despite his association with Pendergast. In 1934, Truman was elected to the U.S. Senate, where he initially struggled to make a mark. Over time, he gained respect for his work on the Senate's special committee to investigate the National Defense Program, known as the Truman Committee. His efforts to expose waste and corruption in defense spending saved billions of dollars and brought him national recognition. Truman's rise to the vice presidency was unexpected. At the 1944 Democratic National Convention, he was chosen as President Franklin D. Roosevelt's running mate to replace the incumbent Henry Wallace, whose progressive views were seen as a liability. Truman assumed office as vice president in January 1945, but had little interaction with Roosevelt during their brief time in office together. On April 12, 1945, Truman was thrust into the presidency following Roosevelt's death. He inherited a world at war, an atomic bomb in development, and significant political challenges. Truman's presidency was marked by monumental decisions and initiatives that reshaped the United States and the world. World War II, and the atomic bomb. One of Truman's first major decisions was to approve the use of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, a controversial act that he believed would end the war swiftly and save lives. Japan's surrender shortly thereafter confirmed the conclusion of World War II. The end of the war ushered in a new global era, and Truman was at its forefront. Under his leadership, the U.S. spearheaded the Marshall Plan, which provided economic aid to rebuild war-torn Europe, and the Truman Doctrine, which pledged American support to countries resisting communism. These policies set the stage for the Cold War and established the U.S. as a global leader. Truman also oversaw the creation of the United Nations and played a pivotal role in the founding of NATO, strengthening international alliances. Domestically, Truman faced significant challenges, including the transition from a wartime to a peacetime economy. His Fair Deal agenda sought to expand social programs, raise the minimum wage, and combat racial discrimination. Although he faced resistance from Congress, Truman desegregated the armed forces in 1948, a landmark step in civil rights. In 1950, Truman led the U.S. into the Korean War under the United Nations banner to repel North Korean aggression against South Korea. The war became a prolonged conflict, testing Truman's leadership and eroding his popularity. After leaving office in 1953, Truman retired to Independence, Missouri, where he devoted himself to writing his memoirs and supporting the construction of the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library. He declined lucrative business offers, believing that public service should not be monetized. Truman's presidency was initially criticized, but over time, historians and the public have re-evaluated his leadership. His decisiveness during critical moments, commitment to internationalism, and advocacy for civil rights have earned him high marks in presidential rankings. Harry S. Truman passed away on December 26, 1972, at the age of 88. His legacy endures as that of an unassuming but effective leader who rose to meet extraordinary challenges with determination and integrity.